Hello there, welcome back to coverage here at GP Oakland. Eduardo, we have Time Walk Magic lined up. What are the two decks real quick? We'll head right down to the feature, but I see Geist of St. Traft here, your old friend.
My old friend, but this is Banned Spirits.
Okay, yeah, sure.
A deck that's kind of risen up in popularity from Nick Prince. And then on the other side, though, we've got a sweet brew, Boros Control with Bomad Courier.
What?
So, I mean, this deck is kind of a burn deck. Goblin Guide, Bomad Courier, Eidolon of the Great Revel, but you know how it ends the game?
How?
Boros Reckoner and Blasphemous Act.
Yes!
A blast from the past. If you hadn't played back then in Standard,
I remember that.
Boros Reckoner, whenever it takes damage, deal that much to a target.
Yep.
Blasphemous Act costs a lot of mana, but with a lot of creatures in play, costs one less. It starts at 9, can go as low as 1. It deals 13 damage to all creatures. That plus Boros Reckoner is 13 damage.
Love that.
You can also, with a Boros Reckoner in play Boros Charm to give your creatures indestructible. Then you can Deafening Clarion to give them lifelink.
Uh-huh.
And then you can deal damage to it somehow. And then you deal damage to itself in infinite times, and it has lifelink, so you gain infinite life.
Oh, that's cool. What a weird deck.
Yeah.
By the way, Nick Prince with the turn 1 Noble Hierarch, it somehow survives against red. It's Goblin Guide on turn 1 for Jordan, but he does get in for 2 damage and manage to dodge the bullet of having a land on top of the library for Nick, so nice.
Yeah, Goblin Guide's power delta is so high. Like in one scenario, it attacks and they get a land, and the other you get free information on what they're going to draw. Like when they don't get the land, it feels so good. Nick deciding here not to take extra damage and going for Phantasmal Image on Goblin Guide and attacking for free.
What in the world?
I mean, you do get a trigger, of course.
I love it. Banned Spirits on the aggro plan. I mean, it does look to attack to win the game anyway, but might as well do it right now.
I think this is more for the meme value than... I mean, like the other card that Nick had access to would have involved paying 2 life and either passing the turn or doing something that can't block Goblin Guide. Oh, yeah, there's a Spell Queller. So I can understand it. There does seem to be that Geist of St. Traft, though, in hand. So there was that option to, pay 2 life and play Geist. But I understand that Nick didn't want to lose 2 life plus not be able to block a Goblin Guide. And rather save the 2 life and attack. But yeah. Nick is definitely thinking that Jordan is on burn, and that's semi-true. It's not quite true, though. But yeah, here, Jordan attacking here.
Both players slamming in with Goblin Guides here.
Yeah. One's a pretender.
Bant Goblin Guides.
Yeah, and Lightning Helix plus Goblin Guide definitely telling me, yeah, I'm against burn. I'm going to play as if I'm against burn. So yeah. Yeah, Collected Company without the 4th mana. It's pretty awkward here.
Wait, does he just have more Phantasmal Images? Are we just going to see Goblin Guides on Goblin Guides?
It's quite possible.
Guides on Guides on Guides on Guides on Guides. I like this. Let's do it.
Nick has a lot of difficult lines here. With the race.
Oh, he's going to play the Geist, isn't he?
Maybe. Definitely. Maybe not.
Whoa, maybe not.
Maybe not. Cancel it.
Revealed off the top of the library. That might change things. Now what does he do?
Nick is like, okay. I had a plan. What is this plan now?
Yeah, now he's just going to pass the turn back. I think he's left up Spell Queller here.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're not exactly a fan of slamming down a Geist of St. Traft into Deafening Clarion.
Right.
Not normally a card you see paired with Goblin Guide, I'll be honest.
That is a very strange combo. Then again, the words Boros and Control next to each other aren't something you see that often, so anything goes. There's Bomad Courier for Jordan.
Another card that combos with Deafening Clarion. I mean,
yeah,
you get lifelink, which in a race is fine, but yeah.
Right, but not exactly a super potent spell, right? 3 mana, my creatures have lifelink.
No. So here Nick could decide to fire off the Spell Queller as a blocker, which I kind of like here. It forces Jordan to tap mana to kill the Spell Queller. So I kind of like this here. Yeah.
He's going to block the Goblin Guide.
Just eat it.
Leave the Courier alive, because he knows that if Jordan wants to clear away this board, he's going to have to clear away the Courier as well.
Yeah, now drawing Path to Exile.
That's interesting. He may want to use that on one of his own creatures if that Clarion ends up getting fired off, right?
Yeah, pretty much certainly. Being able to get an extra mana is going to be critical for Nick here. The thing, though, with that Clarion is Nick is at 13. And at 13 life, has access to a lot of options since the burn opponent is going to really be able to capitalize on those burn spells. 13 is a lot of life. Nick here, though, going like kind of all in on this attack, and there's a Soulscar Mage.
The Deafening Clarion Soulscar Mages.
Yeah, by the way, you can't see this, but Marshall just like blinked, shaked his head, and went, okay, I don't know what life is anymore.
I do not know what the heck is going on.
I mean,
in the meantime, Nick Prince is kind of easily winning this race.
I am kind of surprised, though, by going Phantasmal Image on Goblin Guide, knowing that the Deafening Clarion's coming up.
I am, too.
I mean,
it certainly forced the issue, but...
Yeah, for sure we're going to see Nick path to exile one of the creatures in response. What is Jordan going for?
4 mana.
Blasphemous Act.
Okay, so Deafening Clarions for the week. By the way, Jordan's friends are behind us just giggling away.
Yeah, I think they're right. Yeah, so definitely path your own creature, but what a blasphemous act from the past.
No kidding.
But yeah, I mean, if Nick can draw an untapped land, Collected Company is a very good way to come back. But even then, Nick can just play the Geist of St. Traft, and with Jordan at 7, Jordan will be forced to Deafening Clarion, and there's not much else you can do. So that gives Nick another turn to draw a land.
Yeah. He'll be happy he has that Deafening Clarion because it is one of the better answers for a card like Geist, but Geist demands an answer without having to add anything additional to the board.
Yeah. Not normally a card that's that good against the burn decks anyway, since it does race, but unless you get it on turn 2 on the play, doesn't usually get the job done against burn. But in a position like this, it would have been... I mean, that's the thing, is like, you're kind of attacking on a lot of different axes, so... it's fun, for sure. The Blasphemous Act Boros Reckoner combo is very entertaining.
Entertaining is a great way to put it.
Yeah, so Nick...
All right, let's see if Nick can finally find this mana he needs for... No, he's just going to go ahead and run out the Geist.
Yeah, that's fine. It draws out the Deafening Clarion. As long as Jordan doesn't have a 1-mana Fret, it's fine to trade 1 for 1 in a spot like this. Like, you're not getting too much value out of this Geist of St. Traft anyways. Yeah, so we know this Geist of St. Traft is going away. But what else can Jordan do? A 1-mana Fret? Oh, yeah, the Soulscar Mage.
That's right. He has that Soulscar Mage. But Nick Prince is at a pretty healthy 11 life at the moment. And it's unlikely that Soulscar Mage is going to get the job done. And with 1 land missing here, Prince is also going to have access to very powerful stuff. And even then, he gets to play 2 creatures out this turn. The Mausoleum Wanderer and the Selfless Spirit hit the battlefield for him. As Jordan's life total falls ever lower, he cracks a fetch land. He's at 6 now.
Yeah, and with not many cards, I think Nick might be able to edge this one out. Jordan, like, at 6 is not a lot of life. Especially when you know that Nick has... Because Nick is essentially either drawing a land for Collected Company or drawing a Fret. So... And Frets are not good for Jordan at the moment. But yeah, Soulscar Mage. Bomat Courier and Soulscar Mage are giving me bad flashbacks, though.
Bad flashbacks? Those weren't good memories for you?
Those were not good memories. I was busy with God Pharaoh's Gift. Those were happy memories.
Oh, there you go.
I was wrong, but it was fun. Oh, there's Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Okay, that's interesting.
Wait, this is really a blast from the past. Why are we looking at standard from last year?
Yeah, seriously, what is going on here?
I'm not. This is not where. Yeah, decides to get this out. I mean, yeah, sure. Sacrifice, protect the Mausoleum Wanderer.
Yeah.
I mean, this Chandra Torch of Defiance doesn't need much to die.
A single attack step would get the job done in this scenario.
Yeah.
So Jordan with 1 card in hand just says go.
Yeah.
Passes the turn back to Nick.
A for Vile. Well, that's kind of a non-land, non-fret.
One of the worst draws in his deck, it has to be said.
For this turn? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would... Yeah, so start by attacking Chandra, and if the Wanderer doesn't die, you can image the Wanderer, which I think is okay. It gives you an additional Fret. I mean, Jordan is at 6, and any Spirit would be very strong. But yeah, Nick really wants that land. Or even, like, a Fret. Anything is kind of good at this point.
Yeah.
That isn't a for Vile. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely fire off the Image. You can keep it as well if you think there's going to be something better coming. It would take at least 2 turns, though, with the Vile.
He decides just to keep the Image in hand. Apparently, he just wants to see something better than a 1-1.
Yeah, that's fair. But what is better? Jordan's at 6.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, it requires him to draw something. Uh-oh, young Pyromancer has shown up now for Jordan Edmonds.
As that's Boros Reckoner.
Wow, and there's Boros Reckoner, the 1-2 punch.
Well, now, if you wanted a good target for that Image, Boros Reckoner is definitely one.
Indeed.
I don't know if that was a card Nick had in mind, but I think with the Blasphemous Act... Ooh, a land, yes.
It's all coming up Nick Prince now. He draws that land off the top of the library as well.
Even with the best creatures out that Collecting Company, I think Nick would be short 1. If you had 2 Lords, that'd be +4 damage. But yeah, Boros Reckoner. I think here the best line for Nick is just to play a land, attack, and pass.
He still wants to just cast the Collected Company this turn. He's not interested in that Image anymore.
It's kind of close, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously one of them uses up his mana in a much more efficient manner, but I don't know how important that is at this point in the game. Probably just doing
the other thing. The other thing is Nick would take free damage from this fetch land since both the basic forest and island are there and Misty Rainforest. So being forced to take free rather than 1 is a very big consideration. I think with 1 it's not too close, but with free damage it gets closer.
So maybe it is better to just Image this turn and then go for the thing next turn.
Such a shame though, because the Image copying Reckoner has a big drawback, which is it would have to be sacrificed. So that's kind of so you don't get to use the Boros Reckoner's ability. But yeah, Jordan here drawing the card. This is an important draw.
Yeah, last turn was really good for him. If he can find some way to get some action going.
Bowback Courier.
It's a Courier. He's empty-handed and has an empty board and now a hasty Courier.
I'd be tempted to respond to the Courier, even though Jordan is not staying back. There's no reason to stay back. Your opponent's creatures have flying, and even if you know about and he knows about the Collected Company.
So why respond? Why not just let him get in?
I think you want to get a Spell Queller on that Bowmat Courier to make sure that Jordan can't draw the magical card off the top.
Right.
If you get it, and from there, Nick would be. Yeah, that's where you want to be. Just get a Spell Queller on that Bowmat Courier so that Jordan can't draw a magical card.
Wait, but this is like actually really quite intense because Nick is actually falling to now lethal damage range. Now, assuming he doesn't completely miss here, he should be able to avoid actual death. But boy, this is going to be really close now.
Yeah, but by not playing the Collected Company this turn, when are you going to? So, I mean, there's a line, do you play the Image or do you play the Collected Company? But once you decide to pass, you're kind of forced to play the Collected Company in this spot.
It's just tricky business now with the extra 1 power of attackers on the other side. Let's see what he hits.
Response to Courier. I see
2 Drogskull Captains.
Yeah, that's roughly where we want to be. That also powers up the Wanderer to gigantic sizes.
Yes.
So most spells would be able to be countered now.
Okay.
And the Wanderer can stop both Soulscar Mage and Pyromancer. So I think Nick's going to take this one down.
He's kind of close though.
Yeah, Jordan attacks with all. Nick goes down to 3 by not blocking Courier and the Reckoner. You can block the Pyromancer and the Soulscar, then Jordan can draw a card, but there's not really a creature I can see that would get the job done. And there's no spell that Jordan can draw that would get the last 3 points of damage. The most would be Chandra for 2. Everything else would get stopped by the Wanderer.
Yeah.
So good hits on the Collected Company here, and I think Nick's going to take game 1 down.
Boy. Ended up being very close.
Yeah.
So everything hits the red zone. The Reckoner is really the card that you can't interact with in combat here, but everything else is fine.
The Bowmat Courier is going to... I mean, it doesn't really matter. As long as you block the young Pyromancer and 1 of the other creatures, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. And these are 3/4 Drogskull Captains right now, is that correct?
They're free freeze, right? They pump each other's.
Yeah.
They pump each other. And there's no spell that Jordan could get off the Bowmat Courier that would make the Soulscar Mage bigger than a 2/3, so... Yeah, damage, and then draws a card. But I don't think there's a card here, so we're going to go to game 2, I believe. Because that thing is that Wanderer is a 5/5, remember. That said, yeah, even if Jordan passed the turn, actually, sorry, there is one way that Jordan wins
He
here.
can act.
No, he draws a lightning bolt, and then lightning bolts on upkeep.
Okay. Oh, he drew a lightning bolt!
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. And this is upkeep bolt you.
Yeah, the Vile's at 1. You can't get the image in. The Wanderer is free.
Oh, Jordan Edmonds with an outright theft down the stretch of that game. Wow, you found the line just in time there, Eduardo.
I was like, wait a second. It's a 5/5, but we can wait.
Holy smokes, he did find the
It had to be lightning bolt. There was no other card. Yeah. There we go, and Jordan took it down just at the stretch.
Wow. That was absurd.
That's a cool way to end that game.
That is sick. Man, off of that career, too.
While we're waiting for these early setup turns, with A for Vile on 1, I noticed the Moorland Haunt in Nick's hand, and I've seen people kind of be split between Mutavault and Moorland Haunt. And the line is, if your metagame is kind of more controlling, then you want the Moorland Haunt. And if you want to be a little more against the field, Mutavault has been popular just as a way to put pressure against non-interactive decks, and it's good against control decks.
All right, well, it turns out that, sadly, our round is being paired, and that's exciting for us live in the building, but it means that we do need to cut this one short, and it turns out that Jordan did win that match. So
took it down.
Yes, he did.
Man, that lightning bolt draw was...
Hey, when you're drawing lightning bolts like that...
The thing is, do we really need to see another game? That was perfect.
No,
what else do you need?
That was a great game.
That was the game.
Yes, and we have to stop with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will have more live magic here from Oakland. Don't go anywhere.